One of the guys you mentioned is David Bell. So rookie minicamp preview, which Browns draftees could help in 2022? This is from ESPN.com. Number one, they say Cade York, the kicker. Number two, they say the guy we've been talking about already, David Bell. Number three, Perrion Winfrey, the defensive tackle. Four is Martin Emerson, which the cornerback that surprised some people. He probably will get the chance to play some. And then number five is Alex Wright. When you look at that, let's take Cade York out of the equation because the kicker's going to be an impact kind of guy, and they needed the kicker. Which of the guys, Bell, Winfrey, Emerson, Wright, who do you think makes the biggest impact?
I actually think that ranking might be right. The only ones I might switch might be Perrion Winfrey and David Bell. And that's just because David Bell's going to be a rookie receiver. Obviously, we have Amari Cooper. We have David Bell, too, is not a deep ball guy, right? Like we've talked about this as a staff at cleveland.com. And when, we posed the question, like, could David Bell be a receiver who potentially leads the team one year? Don't think that's super likely, just given his style. He's a high production guy, but that doesn't really include deep balls, and he's not the fastest guy on the team. So that's certainly going to be an element of it. But Perrion Winfrey, I think, especially knowing how limited the Browns were at defensive tackle last year. And I just think he slides in really nicely and fits with what this defense is trying to do. He can get involved in the pass rush. And they were just so thin at that position. I think they're kind of like desperate for any kind of contribution like that. And I think he has the potential to really bring it. And I think he could fit nicely alongside Myles Garrett if Jadeveon Clowney comes back as well. More veteran leadership on either side of him there. So I'm personally, I think he might be the rookie that I am the most excited to see how he fits in on this team. And I think he could really produce for what the Browns are looking for.
Now, we excluded Cade York from that. Took him in the fourth round. If they like him, I don't have an issue with him. The thing I like about him, real accurate from 50 plus. That's such a weapon. And, the Browns see what that's like defensively with Justin Tucker and Evan McPherson, so that they know they live that 4 times a year.
Exactly. I think it gives you a different perspective when you're up against, a guy who's in the conversation for greatest kicker of all time twice a year, and Justin Tucker. And like you said, Evan McPherson, the new face on the scene this past year. And I really think especially with Evan McPherson being added to that Bengals roster, it got the Browns thinking about what they need consistency there, and they haven't had it since Phil Dawson. And I remember when we talked to special teams coordinator Mike Prefer in January, and it was all about drafting kickers. And he mentioned, we're not going to draft somebody just to draft somebody. It has to be the right guy. And he mentioned, a lot of people thought Evan McPherson was going to be different when they drafted him. I think a lot of people felt that way about Cade York as well. And those two have some interesting history going back to college and the infamous Fog game. They were on opposite sides of the football there. Cade York made the game-winning field goal in that game. Evan McPherson did not. So it's all really interesting storylines, I think, with kickers. And the Browns are just such in an interesting position. I think the fan base is hungry for some solid kicking in the years since Phil Dawson. And much like Cleveland fans appreciate offensive linemen, I think they appreciate great kicking as well. So I understand why the fan base is so excited for this one.
Did you have an issue at all take him in the fourth round? I certainly did not. I think it's that important.
No. I did. I was going to be very stressed out, I think, if they did not take him with one of those 3 picks that they had right there after 99. So I really am. I think you cannot stress how important kicking has become, especially in this division, because, we've joked, and I'm like, there's some truth in every punchline, right? That Justin Tucker might be the scariest person on that Ravens team if there's like less than a minute left in the game and they have the ball. Like, they just have to get to the 50-yard line and they have a chance to get some points on the board. So I just really think, too, when you look at the history of Cleveland and the fact that there just has not been that solid performer, that steady performer since Phil Dawson retired. It's truly, you cannot overstate how much Cade York could mean for this team.